What's that smell?
Oh, that would be me. I've been swimming in raw sewage. I love it. I love it. That's the signal. Let's go. Do it.
Hello? Is there anybody out there? We sure hope so, as we're back trimming albums that are too damn long in this week's episode of Trimming the Musical Fat. I'm Stephen Nicholson.
And I'm Paul Nicholson.
And together with our guests, we're going to be taking our invisible scissors to the concept album to end all concept albums. Pink Floyd's 1979 rock opera double album, The Wall. What's going to make the single album under 50-minute TTMS supercut of The Wall? Comfortably Numb? Mother? All three versions of Another Brick in the Wall? Keep listening to find out as we dedicate 3 episodes to this 26-song monster. So, let's introduce our guests. First up, the man who wishes he was Roger Waters's very busy lawyer, Davie Melon. How you doing, Davie?
Not bad, you're right.
Good, and this is you making your full podcast episode debut.
Yeah, I think I was due like in a couple of months' time, but I bumped into you in the Boozer. I've not got in being one of these podcasts and an album I like. You went, well, I'm doing the Wall. Fancy that? I went, no problem, I can do that. So pleasure to be here.
And here you are, yeah, which glad to have you along. And we're also hoping to have someone else who's making their podcast debut, Fife's finest, a man who met the late, great acting legend Dame Diana Rigg, Allan Traynor. But Allan is currently playing football, so we hope he will join us at some point during this episode. So, yeah, before we get into the album itself, I think the big thing we need to talk about, guys, is the Euro Football Championship starting tomorrow. So will you be watching?
Yes, I think I'm meeting you at the Boozer.
Oh, that's right, tomorrow night.
Managed to get a table somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, looking forward to it. 8 o'clock tomorrow. It should be good fun.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. It'd be nice just to look forward to it, and also the fact that Scotland have qualified for a tournament for the first time in 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be good, great just to have the football back. Definitely.
Yeah.
I remember that 23 years ago, France 98.
Yeah,
that's
my
right.
Mum and Dad asked me, I'll go to the next one. Here I am 23 years later.
Davey's a great granddad. I can finally make it to the tournament now, son.
Big mistake, I know. But yeah, who's your tips to win it then, Davie? Who do you think will win it?
But I'm not a real okay, but we've got a fancy for Italy, yeah.
France or Italy?
Germany have been top poor in qualifying.
Yeah.
A wee while they keep getting daft results, so I'm not very confident about them. I'd normally be supporting Germany, but I still will be, but I don't think they can win that one.
Yeah, what about you, Paul?
So obviously all the obvious ones, but Belgium, I always think you can't write Belgium off. And
well, you can.
They're going to have to second world tag at some point.
I know.
Yeah. I hope they've qualified because that's. But yeah, I think it's almost like, I suppose, like Spain and Portugal in the past. They were always like great prospects, but they never quite did it. But then they finally did manage to almost, instead of being the bridesmaid. And I wonder if Belgium, you know how they say it's a golden generation, if they'll be able to finally crack that nut.
Yeah, I just got a sneaky suspicion England might win it.
I've got a £20 free bet on them as a misery bet.
Well,
I'll be
yeah.
happy. It's free. So happy with that.
I think they've got a lot. I think they've got a lot of strength and depth, and I think it's actually, if anything, it'll be the mental side of things. If they don't crack, they've got a really good shout at it.
Home advantage
Anyway,
as
that's
well.
yeah, exactly, which does count for a lot, the home advantage. So yeah, but it's just going to be great watching a football tournament again. So yeah, looking forward to it. So we're talking Pink Floyd today. How big a fan are you of their work? I'll maybe start with you, Paul.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't really get into them, funnily enough, till the turn of the millennium, actually. It was...
Millennium.
I know. It was about 2000, and I remember going into Records, which was on the Coburn Street in Edinburgh, and I'd always heard about Pink Floyd from people, and I always... although I always liked Another Brick in the Wall, I never really knew. So I got Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, and for me, The Wall was the best work. So it's quite appropriate that we're doing it today. But I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan, but I do appreciate what they've done. But I'm not a massive fan. Mm-hmm. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably mirror that. The first Pink Floyd album I bought was the best of that came out in 2002, maybe.
2001?
It might have been 2001, 2002. I remember, I just remember vividly buying it because me and Alison were up in Aviemore, I think it was Aviemore or Inverness. Yeah, for a wedding. And on the way to the train station to get the train back here to Edinburgh, popped into an HMV, I think, and bought it. Yes, that was the first Pink Floyd album I bought, and yeah, enjoyed it. But similar to you, I'm a huge fan. No, do I like them? Yes. Do I own a couple of their records, the vinyl? Yes, I do. Had I listened to The Wall prior to a couple of weeks ago? No. And it's been a very pleasant experience getting to know it. But anyway, what about you, Davie?
Well, I think that album you're talking about, I think my big brother got me for Christmas that year. But no, I think the first time I really heard it, Echoes, first time I really heard them was actually in like secondary school. A couple of guys in the gym class, they loved it and they kept banging on about it. I think it was around about the time of the Division Bell. And I remember that being on MTV quite often, and I really loved that song. And I think when I went to university, that's when I started buying all their albums. I think the first one I really bought was the Final Cut.
Oh yeah.
That's because I used to get Q magazine quite a lot at the time, and they used to have this section on like the most miserable albums ever made. That's right up my street. Yeah. That's right up my street now. So I bought it and I loved it, and then just went from there. And basically, I've got all their albums. Don't listen too much to the early stuff, but it is really good. But I'm not as much into it.
The Syd Barrett, yeah,
the Syd Barrett stuff like that. It's really good, but I've just not listened to it for ages. But stuff like Wish You Were Here, Animals, Echoes, they're all brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that, guys, and thank you for joining us today, Davie. It's the tale of the tape. The Wall, the 11th studio album from Pink Floyd. It was released in November 1979 and preceded by the UK and US #1 single, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. The album was a follow-up to 1977's Animals. The album was produced by Dave Gilmour, Roger Waters, Bob Ezrin, and James Guthrie. The cover was designed by British illustrator Gerald Scarfe. There are 26 songs on it. So they are In the Flesh, ? The Thin Ice, Another Brick in the Wall 1, Happiest Days, Another Brick in the Wall 2, Mother, Goodbye Blue Sky, Empty Spaces, Young Lust, One of My Turns, Don't Leave Me Now, Another Brick in the Wall 3, Goodbye Cruel World, Hey You, Is There Anybody Up There, Nobody Home, Vida, Bring the Boys Back Home, Comfortably Numb, The Show Must Go On, In the Flesh, Run Like Hell, Waiting for the Worms, Stop, The Trial, and Outside the Wall. The album itself is 81 minutes in duration, which means we need to lose at least 31 minutes today. There were 3 singles released from the album, which were Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, Run Like Hell, and Comfortably Numb. So, Paul, over to you.
So the album received mixed reception critically. In 1980, Rolling Stone's Kurt Loder hailed it as a stunning synthesis of Waters' by familiar thematic obsessions that leap life with a relentless lyrical rage that's clearly genuine and in its painstakingly, particularly ultimately horrifying. By contrast, the Village Voice critic Robert Christgau regarded it as a dumb of a rock star epic by kitsch minimal maximalism with sound effects and speech fragments, adding that its worldview is self-indulgent and the self-pity of its rich, famous, and decidedly post-adolescent protagonist as a species of heroism. That's a lot to say that, I have to say. And the sales facts of the album was that it's the band's second best-selling album after 1973's Dark Side of the Moon. The album has sold 31 million copies to date worldwide, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And this is a 19 million sales increase on the band's previous album, Animals, which, 61% more sales for this album. In the US, an astonishing 23 times platinum. In the UK, 5 times platinum. The chart positions, it got to number 3 in the UK album chart and number 1 in the US Billboard album chart. The streaming figures from Spotify to make equivalent album sales to add on to the already 31 million sales would be 527,000. And that's a 94, that's quite a 94% increase on Animals, the previous album. And Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 with 141,000 listens was the most streamed song on the album.
Can't believe it never got to number 1 in Britain.
I know.
For the album?
Yeah.
It's funny that, isn't it?
Number 3, yeah.
Number 3, and it still went 5 times platinum as well.
Oh, that's meant 31 million sales for a double album. That's crazy.
I know.
And that's not their biggest selling album.
No, it is the biggest selling. No, it's not, sorry. Dark Side of the Moon is.
How much? So, do you know?
Maybe 40 million, maybe?
Yeah, because
I don't have the information right beside me, but I'm sure it's like 40 million.
Because did that not have some kind of crazy record that it was in the US top 75 album chart for, several decades or something?
Yeah. A bit like Fleetwood Mac and Rumours. And Bat Out of Hell, they were like the longest time on the album charts. And Queen's Greatest Hits as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm now going to go on to the top 10 best-selling singles from 1979, of course, when the album came out. At number 10 was Do You Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart.
Yes.
At number 9, Pop Music by M. At number Too Much Heaven by the Bee Gees. Number 7, My Sharona by the Knack. At number 6, Hot Stuff by Donna Summer. At number 5, Tragedy by the Bee Gees. Number 4, Born to Be Alive by Patrick Hernandez. At number 3, I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. Le Freak by Chic. And the number 1 best-selling single worldwide from 1979 is Heart of Glass by Blondie.
It's a better top 10 than it is these days.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
That's not hard. Actually, of all the podcasts in the top 10 singles for each year, that is definitely the most dance-tastic top 10, isn't it?
That's a lot of bangers on there.
Oh, yeah. Bee Gees got 2 in there.
Yeah. Song's not disco. Pop music, you could argue, is disco. And maybe not. But the rest are all disco, yeah.
Didn't realise My Sharona was that
Sure as
big a
well.
hit. Yeah. Didn't realise.
Number one in America, I think. Yeah.
Great tune, no? It's a really good
It
top
is.
10, you know. I Will Survive,
one
Heart
of
of
the best.
Glass, Hot Stuff, yep. And Davie's theme tune, Do You Think I'm Sexy?
That's right. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That's
What
good,
year
like
was-
that.
Is this 1979, is it?
Yeah.
So that'll be the year I was born, too.
There you go.
That's
So
the
you,
year you were born.
you came
I
out
did.
dancing.
Okay, then. The top 10 selling albums, 1979 worldwide. At number 10 is Discovery by ELO. At number 9, Bad Girls by Donna Summer. At number 8, In Through the Outdoor by Led Zeppelin. At number 7, London Calling by The Clash. At number 6, The Long Run by The Eagles. At number 5, Blondes Have More Fun, Rod Stewart. At number 4, Spirits Having Flown by the Bee Gees. At number 3, Off the Wall, Michael Jackson. At number 2, Breakfast in America by Supertramp. And the number 1 album in 1979, the top selling album worldwide, is The Wall by Pink Floyd. Which is quite amazing, really, because that was only released in November. So, in fact, in the space less than 2 months, it became the best-selling album. So it sold as much in those 2 months to make it the top-selling album.
Wow.
I didn't
And still
realise.
didn't get to number 1.
Yeah.
Not in the UK, no.
Worldwide, I suppose.
I didn't realise Discovery by ELO had sold that well.
Yeah, I was quite surprised because I think it's a great album. And what do you think when you go through that list? Quite a few good ones there, isn't there?
One I like on there's the Bee Gees one, Spirits Having Flown.
Yeah,
Really good
it's
album.
a great album.
And The Long Run by the Eagles. I never listened to that.
Yeah, it's quite good. It's quite a short album, actually.
It's got a couple of good songs.
It's
in
got
it.
Sad Cafe on it and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think it's got the long run out as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, the
And,
Supertramp. Supertramp's are brilliant.
That's a great album, isn't it?
Yeah, Logical Song. Obviously the title track. Yeah, some good stuff on there.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Yeah, it's a decent top 10, that.
Yeah, it's really
Too
good.
many of the. I think I've only got the Wall probably out of all of them.
Well, there you go.
I done.
Get on Spotify and Apple Music, Davey.
And what's, for me, Michael Jackson's best album as well, Off the Wall. That was a great album. Yeah. What's quite interesting, when you look there as well, there's probably 3/4 of it are British artists in that chart. Obviously, with the exception of Donna Summer and Michael Jackson. And the Eagles, yeah, so 7 out of the 10 British artists.
You'd think Michael Jackson would be up there a bit more. Was he maybe just a tail end? He'd released it the year before or something.
I think, no, it did come out that year. I think he was just building momentum, though, to kind of being a big star. Obviously, he'd been in the Jacksons, but I think at that time he was just sort of launching his solo career. But for me, it's his best album, actually. Okay, so we're going to now go into the UK top 10 grossing movies in 1979. Yeah, at number 10 is Porridge, starring Ronnie Barker. That's Porridge the movie. At number 9 is National Lampoon's Animal House, starring John Belushi. At number 8 is Quadrophenia, starring Sting. At number 7 is Apocalypse Now, starring Marlon Brando. At number 6 is Black Hole, starring Robert Forster. At number 5 is Every Which Way But Loose, starring Clint Eastwood. At number 4, Monty Python's The Life of Brian, starring John Cleese. At number 3 was Star Trek The Motion Picture, starring William Shatner. At number 2 was Alien, starring Sigourney Weaver. And at number 1, the top grossing movie in the UK for 1979 was a favourite of ours, Moonraker, starring Roger Moore. What do you think of that top 10?
Oh, it's pretty good, isn't it? Some really good films in there. Apocalypse Now is a classic.
Yeah.
Never heard of that Robert Forster one.
Oh, it's
it's
dated, but I
Yeah.
still enjoy it. Black Hole,
Yeah.
yeah.
I used to watch that.
Disney sci-fi. It's actually a lot of sci. Probably no surprise, still kind of off the back of Star Wars in '77, but a lot of sci-fi in there. Moonraker,
That's
Alien, Star Trek, Black Hole.
Was it Alien or Aliens?
Alien.
The very
Alien.
first one, yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
So
My
sorry.
was it Life of Brian? You can't beat that.
Yeah. And
Do you know I've never seen it? I've never seen it.
That's good.
I've seen bits of it and I've heard a lot of it. I've never ever seen it.
He's not the Messiah. He's just a very naughty boy.
What have the Romans ever done for us?
Do you know what's interesting when you look at the list as well? You've got like a couple of films that are starting off a franchise where there's quite a lot of sequels. Obviously, Alien and Star Trek: The Motion Picture. They were the original movies, and they obviously spawned loads of sequels and other side show films from it as well.
And Porridge 2, the Revenge. And is this the worldwide top 10?
No, it's the
UK
top 10. Yeah.
I was going to say, I'd be very surprised if Porridge starring Ronnie Barker was hitting the multiplexes in the US.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get the worldwide for some reason. They couldn't, so that's why I just got the UK one. But they're quite. I mean, it was either the American one as well. The American one was slightly different. I think Kramer versus Kramer was number one in America.
It's a really good film.
Moonraker was in the top 10 though, and Star Trek and Alien.
Yeah,
you know,
Moonraker was huge. It was a big hit, biggest Bond movie of all time at that point.
That's right, yeah. And it was all. I think it took. The budget was like 30 million, which was a lot in 1979, compared to how much they'd spent on other Bonds.
Yeah, but no, a lot of stuff in there I like, I have to say. Especially the sci-fi stuff. Big fan.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah. Here are 3 news stories around the world from 1979. So, in 1979, Conservatives won the general election, with Margaret Thatcher becoming the first female Prime Minister. And the Conservatives would remain in power until 1997 when Tony Blair's Labour Party got in. And I suppose this time heralds what then became known through the 80s as Thatcher's Britain. The charity concert for Kampuchea, which was 4 nights of concerts held at Hammersmith Odeon to raise money for Cambodia, and the event was organised by Paul McCartney and Kurt Wildham, who was the Secretary General of the UN, and it involved well-established artists such as McCartney, The Who and Queen, as well as younger punk and new wave acts like The Clash and The Pretenders. There was also a rumour that the Beatles were going to perform, but they got one of the 4. And at the end of the year as well, it's quite funny actually, there seemed to be the tail end of the year, 2 of these. It was the Iran hostage crisis, and there's a diplomatic standoff between the United States and Iran, and 52 American diplomats and citizens were held hostage after a group of militarized Iranian college students belonging to the Muslim Student Followers line, who supported the Iranian Revolution, took over the US Embassy in Tehran and seized hostages. The hostages were held for 444 days from November 1979 to January the 20th, 1981. And of course, that was, for a lot of people who know the film Argo, that's what Argo's about, the film. Yeah, but that's 444 days. I mean, that's...
Long time. Okay. Thank you for that, Paul. It's time to eat our meat, so we get our pudding and trim the talk, where we are all asked the same questions and have to answer in alphabetical order. However, we only have 3 minutes to do this. So, gentlemen, are you ready to answer the questions as quickly as you can?
Fire away.
Yeah.
And we are off.
3 minutes start now.
So we're starting with you, Davie. Describe Pink Floyd in 3 words.
Psychedelic, trailblazing, and innovative.
Oh,
Talented, indulgent, prog.
I've got grouchy, trippy, expansive. Have you seen Pink Floyd live or solo, Davie?
Yep, I seen Roger Waters at the Hydro about 2 or 3 years ago.
Very cool. Paul?
No, I haven't seen them live.
Not me neither. Favourite Pink Floyd album?
Wish You Were Here.
The Wall.
I would agree with you, Davie. Wish you were here. Favourite Pink Floyd song?
Echoes.
Echoes. Paul?
Money.
I would go with Shine On You, Crazy Diamonds. If we put them all together, well, about 18 minutes, I'll love it.
2 minutes left.
Favourite member of Pink Floyd?
Roger Waters.
David Gilmour.
Yep, David Gilmour for me as well. What were you doing at the time of the album's release in November 1979, Davie?
Getting breastfed.
Paul?
Probably in my buggy fighting with you or something.
Maybe, yeah. I'd be halfway through my first
You in primary school?
half year, yeah, in primary 1, yeah, starting school.
Yeah.
Okay, when and where did you first hear The Wall?
I would probably say at university. Listened to it when I first got the album in university
Okay.
in the 90s.
Yeah, I first heard it in 2000.
Oh. Okay, and did you buy the CD?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
1 minute remaining.
Yeah.
Yep, for me, I only listened to it for the first time about 3 or 4 weeks ago through through Apple Music, and since then I have bought the reissued, remastered double vinyl, which I was listening to today. It's great. Favorite track from the album?
I'm going to say Hey You, because I always feel there should be a bit more of a comfortably numb.
30 seconds to go.
I would say In the Flesh.
Okay, I would go from the Brick in the Wall Part 2. What's your least favourite track from the album?
Run Like Hell.
Vera.
Funnily enough, nobody voted for Vera. There's a shock. I would go with Don't Leave Me Now. And what would you give the album out of 5?
A solid 5.
Paul?
I would give it a 5 as well.
I would go 4.5, but I've only lived with it 3 or 4 weeks. It might well end up being a 5. And we've just done that on the 3-minute mark exactly. Well done, guys. So I'll maybe just take. So obviously, you guys have both given The Wall 5. So you obviously regard it really highly. I think, Paul, you said you think it's Pink Floyd's best album, yeah?
Yeah, but in fairness, I've not heard all their albums, but certainly, out the ones that I've heard, yeah. Because the compilation album. Do you know it's a really good album, actually? Is There Anyone Out There? The live album of this album. It's a really good album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Davey, you're obviously a big fan as well.
Yeah, no, I even love Vera.
Right, okay.
Somebody's got to.
I'm a victim of you.
Hi everyone, is there anybody out there?
Oh my God, it's Alan, and we can't miss him at that volume.
Trying out new headphones, sorry.
That's all right. You're coming through very loud and clear. That's for sure. You've actually timed it quite well, Alan, because we're just about to talk about have you seen Pink Floyd live or seen any of the solo members? So I know you have, but I'll maybe go to Davey first. You seen Roger Waters at the Hydro 3 years ago, you were saying? How was it?
It was absolutely superb. We're sitting right up probably right up the back, but the light show that he put on, like this massive like sort of like cinema screen came out from the ceiling, and it had like the whole of the Battersea power plant was covering the whole of the hydro. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he put a lot of political stuff on when he was singing all these stuff from like Animals. I think he ended up with a big like 40-foot projection just saying that Trump is a ball bag.
Well, that's quite accurate. Yeah.
But no, he played. He didn't play very much of his solo stuff at all. I think he just played like 2 or 3 songs from his most recent album that he just released that year, I believe. But he didn't play anything from like the Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, which I absolutely love, and he didn't play anything from the Final Cut. It was mostly just like between Wish You Were Here, Dark Side, The Wall, and Animals, really. But it was absolutely tremendous. Flying things going about the place.
Nice, and so you
I
enjoyed
think,
it, and yeah.
I think that I'm due to see, it's been cancelled a few times, but Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets.
Okay.
So they're playing at the Usher Hall, so he's doing all the early Pink Floyd stuff. They've got like the guitarist for Spandau Ballet and there's one of the Kent Boys, is it? So they're all appearing in that, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's a natural fit. Spandau Ballet and Pink Floyd. the coming together that was always meant to happen. Yeah. And Alan, you seen Roger Waters as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Sorry, I've moved my microphone a bit, so I hope I'm not as loud.
Nope, you're fine. Perfect.
I seen Roger Waters doing the Wall when he done his last Wall Live tour, the one that is available. There was the version that he done in Prague that was released as a film and album. So I seen that in Dublin, and again, it's Roger Waters stuff is heavily politicized. I'm a bit of a Pink Floyd snob. I don't really regard anything after 1980 as Pink Floyd. But you can tell that Waters was the architect. He was the person who tried to put meaning and symbolism, but he wasn't a singer. Whereas Gilmour was very much the kind of musician, which is why after Waters left, a lot of the Pink Floyd stuff is just much more mainstream, 3 to 4 minute singable tracks. So I saw the show in Dublin at Lansdowne Road, and it was incredible. Just the sheer scope of the production, and again the way it's what was supposed to be a musical about depression has suddenly become a metaphor for Palestine. Heavily politicized. Unfortunately, I don't think some of the other people who were at the concert with me appreciated it as much. I think there was a couple of young guys in front of me that probably didn't realise what the Wall was. They maybe heard Comfortably Numb and thought it was just going to be a 2-hour concert of that kind of stuff. So they just talked their way through it and then went mental when Comfortably Numb came on, which was quite annoying. And then there was some walloper from Liverpool that just kept singing Everton all the way through. But apart from that, yeah, quite incredible. And if you watch the film that came out about it, it's expertly done, but just the technology involved in it, having a Spitfire coming overhead, having the Wall disintegrating in front of you, absolutely incredible show. And I think it stood the test of time. I think the Wall came out a few months after I did, and I know which one has aged best.
That's great. I'm sure it would have been a great show. Thank you for sharing. Glad you made it along. How did the football go?
Yeah, second game in as many days, and knees struggling a little bit. Someone actually did ask me afterwards, have you considered doing walking football? To which I responded, what the hell do you think I've been doing for the last 60 minutes?
Ouch. Okay, guys, well, thank you for that. And actually brings us to the end of our first episode dedicated to The Wall. So thank our guests, Alan and Davie, for joining us today. In the next episode, we will be doing a deep dive into the Wall, and we'll start to look at the tracks that we have agreed upon that will make the TTMF supercut of the album. That's the one that we are trimming down under 50 minutes. So we'll walk our way through those songs that have made it, but also the songs that have not. So that's what we're dedicating the second episode to. Now, if you want to get in touch with us and see what we're up to in the meantime, you can check us out on our website, which is www.trimmingthemusicalfat.com, and we're on social media as well, so Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. You can get in touch with us through there. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you for part 2.
Minimal maximalization. I'm going to just say that again. Sorry, it's a bit of a mouthful like this. Minimal maximalism with sound effects and speech fragments, adding in the New York Times that its worldview is self-judged.
Easy for you to
start
say.
that whole bit again.
Yeah, start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the one I love the most is Mike Oldfield, Discovery. That's an absolutely superb album.
It's not Mike Oldfield, it's ELO, Electric Light Orchestra.
You don't see Discovery, number 10?
Yeah, by Electric Light Orchestra, ELO.
Ah, right. I only heard Discovery and I just put in my head.
That's okay.
Oh.
That's okay. At number 7, Apocalypse Now, starring Marlon Brando.
Marilyn Brando.
What's that?
You said Marilyn Brando.
All right, I'll do it again then. Marlon.
That was his sister. Okay, the clock. Oh, that's not going to do it. That's just going to turn off my alarm, which is probably not a good thing.
I love it. I love it.